Hey, this is Anthony from RevZilla TV. We can watch, decide, and ride. Welcome to our detailed breakdown of the new AGV GT-Veloce helmet, available at RevZilla.com. The latest in a line of thoroughbreds from AGV. This is the GT-Veloce. We saw Valentino Rossi's Pista GP a few years ago, all carbon fiber. Then we saw that DNA worked into a fiberglass composite that's going to be the Corsa. This is now the GT-Veloce, coming in about $200 less than the Corsa, but I will say this is the top end, most versatile and premium helmet within the AGV line. So the GT-Veloce is going to sit above the horizon and the skyline. It's using the SSL outer shell. They call it super light, but let me tell you why that's important. At 3 pounds 4 ounces, you're getting a helmet that's got carbon fiber, fiberglass, and aramid fiber. So again, very light, very strong. We find the AGV line to be extremely lightweight. And again, they're taking a helmet that was originally stealing DNA from the racetrack, and you're setting it up for more longer distance sport touring and sport riding. So what that means is the big thing you're gonna notice, they've eliminated the bolt-on rear spoiler that you see on Corsa and Pista. They've softened the back here. And what they've also done is they've softened the Hawksbill. So again, they're designing this helmet to be a little bit more stable and comfortable when you're riding 3/4 or upright riding position, think Ducati Multistrada, for longer distance of time. This is the helmet that's going to be really that Goldilocks. It's going to do everything well. I'm not going to lie, DOT, ECE, you can take it to the track. You also could ride this on a tour across America. It's going to have the functional set that's, again, going to be stable, quiet enough, and it's going to be comfortable enough at speed. Now, really quickly, let's talk about fitment before I completely break it down. And by the way, this is the TXT graphic, comes in one color. Now, you're going to look at it. The shape of this helmet is going to be a bit more intermediate oval. So you're going to see that across the AGV line. So intermediate oval, a little bit front to back, no surprises there. But the beauty of this helmet is the comfort liner has what we call the rabbit ears. And it's these two strips that you can actually tune with Velcro to be either down the center line or a little bit more towards the edges. And they actually allow you to tune the fit to go from intermediate oval to a little bit more neutral. I will not call them, even when they're completely splayed, round. I will call them maybe more neutral, a little bit more area in the back if your head happens to be a bit more egg-shaped. We've seen that on the Pista, we've seen that on the Corsa. Now we're seeing it as the theme on the premium comfort liner from AGV on the GT-Veloce. I'm also going to say that in our experience, this helmet fits about a half size small. So that means when you are using the size chart, if you're right on the cusp in between two helmets, always go to that size up, and you're going to have the best chance of getting it spot on. Now it is 4 shell shapes, it is super light. Again, 3 pounds 4 ounces for a small is very light. But I'm also going to call out that this helmet splits mediums. So we're seeing this in the new AGV line. So the helmets go small, they go medium small, which is one size, then you go medium large, then you go large. So they've taken the medium and they've actually bifurcated it. So again, use the size chart, err on the side that the helmet's gonna run a bit snug, but keep that in mind and you should be good to go. Now, if you have any questions with that, remember, we're always here to talk. We're going to ship for free if you're concerned about the size. And again, you're investing in the mid-5s when you're coming in on this bad boy. But more importantly, click right there, subscribe to us at RevZilla TV. I'd love to hear your comments, your questions, and your feedback on the new GT-Veloce. So let's work from the outside and move our way in. So we've already talked about the super light shell. Super light. God bless you, AGV. Love the Italians. Very literal today. Now, we've lost our rear spoiler. We've optimized this guy to be more comfortable in the upright position. Let's talk about the other features. The first thing you're going to notice is the vent scheme is very similar to the Corsa. So you're going to have your vent down here along the chin. That's operable inside the helmet. Again, easy to find even with a gloved hand right on the inside. Then you move up to your vents right here. Now, passive vents along the back, and you have 3 active vents on the front. Active meaning I can open and close them. This is my call out. They look great, they're sexy, they're Italian, they're what we expect from AGV, but I will say that they trade a little bit of form over function here because the way that they're designed, it's a little harder to use. And it's just the way that they pull and push. Again, there are easier vent mechanisms to use on other helmets. To me, it's not a deal breaker. It's definitely a nitpick, but I will say that based on our experience, the helmet vents extremely well. So what are vents for? They're for venting and keeping your airflow cool across your head. They could be reworked so they're a little bit easier to slide in future versions. That might just be a factor of lubrication when the helmet's being constructed. Calling that out to AGV, hopefully they get better over time, but again, I would not dissuade you from the helmet for that. You'll notice the IVS system across the back, the integrated ventilation system, which has been improved. All of the new line of AGV helmets are gonna flow more air. And when we work our way into the back, you're gonna see passive venting now. Again, Venturi effect, high-speed air moving over a sphere, creates an area of low pressure. It's gonna suck that warm, moist air out of the helmet. So pushed in from the front actively, sucked out from the rear in a passive fashion. Keep that in mind. Again, rock solid ventilation here on the new GT-Veloce. Moving into our face shield mechanism. Notice they're going race inspired. Either hand is usable for this guy. Same thing we saw on the GP, or we see on the Pista GP, same thing we see in the Corsa. Again, what do I like about it? It's easy and it's center and it's not in the way. What I also like about it is it has this spring-loaded city position where I can lock it down and I'm able now to get ventilation that's gonna allow me to defog at speed. And notice too, I have tear-off posts here for the racetrack, but it comes pin lock ready with a pin lock lens that you can purchase separately, but you have pin lock posts for this bad boy as well. Now my nitpick with their shield, which is the Race 2 optically correct shield that you're gonna see on the other helmets, again, so it's gonna be strong, sturdy, up to 2 or 3 millimeters thick, again, bomb-proof here. What I don't like about it is you're gonna see here for more street and long distance riding, there's no detent. I love, even if there was one more detent in the middle of the helmet, I know there are a lot of guys out there that like to rock it more than just the city position. You're not gonna be able to do that with this helmet. Again, they're taking that play out of the playbook from the race side of things. Again, a small area that I think they could improve on. If we look at the gasket around the helmet, nice, solid, double-walled, gonna create a great seal. You have a breath deflector that's fully removable. Again, nice wide eye port. The other only gripe that I would have is these tear-off posts, again, are completely removable, but you have them in your peripheral vision depending on how much you use that field of view. I will say too, at speed, we didn't find any issues with head checks on this helmet. We thought it was stable, everything stayed in place, and you know, think about when we say at speed, we're gonna go take it on I-95 and give it a good crank. Now, if we look at the face shield change mechanism, they call it the extra quick change release system. It's a bunch of letters put together. Again, the Italian, sometimes it's lost in translation, but what it does is it works well. Very simple to operate. You pull this piece down on the side, it pops right off. You can see it's this rectangular piece that just fits in right there. This is the same that we've seen on the Pista. We've seen it similarly on the Corsa. Now we see it on the GT-Veloce. Now, if I move my way around the helmet, you're gonna see the way the neck roll comes together, and at this point, I can really bring you into the guts of the helmet and take you for a tour. Now, moving inside, I'm going to bring out my donut, turn this bad boy on its side, and let's deconstruct. You're gonna notice at the front, you're gonna have these two Lycra stretchable, removable breath guards here. And then what you do is you have an integrated neck roll and you have an integrated cheek pad. Again, very, very soft. The liner is gonna be antimicrobial. It's Lycra. It has a very, very soft feel to it, but it's all one piece. And I can remove it by reaching in and unsnapping it, and you're gonna see it all come out at once. I will tell you that AGV has its own Bluetooth unit coming, which is an OEM Fitment, somewhere down the line. This helmet is designed for it, and you're gonna see some of those cutaways in the EPS when I get to it. You know, here's my 3D Comfort liner, again, my neck roll rather, with my very contoured, almost race fit cheek pads. Notice the extra padding on the back. That's pre-cut to be already removable. I'll say this helmet does not have huge cutaways for an aftermarket Bluetooth comm unit. It's gonna take the AGV comm unit when it comes on the market, but we know there's a huge contingent out there of diehard Cena and Cardo guys. If you buy one of those units, the speakers are slightly bigger than the cutouts in this helmet, you'd want to remove these extra pads and give yourself a little more room to inject that speaker so it's not creating a pressure point. But you all notice that it is one piece, it's very, very soft. And they've actually changed the neck roll a little bit too to create a different type of seal that's more of a touring, longer distance riding. They're really thinking through the comfort and quiet factor on this helmet, knowing that a session on the racetrack for a limited amount of time is really, really different than a 500-mile day ride. Now, if we work in, now that I've got my comfort liner out, I'm gonna pop out my rest of my liner here, and my neck roll rather, and you're gonna see a key change here as well. Notice on top that they've encapsulated this with mesh. It's a very similar liner system that we saw with the AGV Corsa as well as the Pista GP. And notice they have our big discs for air blocking and comfort. You can tune this helmet, but what they gave you is this mesh structure across the top, and what that's gonna do is it's gonna slightly buffer some of the direct ventilation coming in, but not so much that it's not gonna keep you cool, but what it's gonna do is cut down the wind noise. So again, when you had this was kind of a bare bones setup for the Corsa and for the Pista, you're not worried about that wind noise because again, you're rocking earplugs most likely and your short bursts on the track. In this helmet, they're thinking about what's gonna get annoying over time. It's gonna be any type of extraneous noise within the helmet. You're also gonna notice along the back, this is how we tune those rabbit ears, again with Velcro. You're able to move it and lock it down so you have a better feel. And you're gonna see here along the back, I believe is where the battery system may or may not go in for that AGV, for the AGV comm unit. But again, you have plenty of Plenty of room in here, and you're gonna see the big ventilation across it as well. If we look at the inside, notice massive vent holes, 10 millimeters, lots of decent fins that are gonna bring the airflow through, circulate it around, exit it out the back. Again, no surprises there for us. They've nailed this down very, very well on the Corsa and the Pista, and now they're bringing it to you here. And notice on the inside of the chin here right there, that's gonna be your operator for that front chin vent as well. If I turn it this way, you're gonna see the cutouts for the speakers. You'll see the cutouts for the OEM Bluetooth unit you're going to be able to get after the fact. Again, remember what I said about third-party Bluetooth units if you bring them into play. But overall, this is exactly what we expect from AGV in that $500 range. You know, there are a few things that we would nitpick at, but they do not diminish the value of the helmet if you like the setup, the functionality, and certainly the style, because they're very progressive and aggressive in what they're designing these days for street and track use. So remember, you're saving about $200 over the Corsa. You're getting a much more street, long-distance riding flavored helmet. And the next step in your journey is to take everything I've told you today to help you quantify where this guy lives within the universe. But click here, read other rider reviews at RevZilla.com. You don't have to take my word for it on the GT-Veloce. Remember, as always, we'll ship for free. And if you want to talk to a gear geek, see us at RevZilla.com or 877-792-9455. Thanks for watching our detailed breakdown of the new GT-Veloce. Remember, click and subscribe to us at RevZilla TV on our YouTube channel if you like what we do here. I'm Anthony. We'll see you next time.